Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast, a podcast about all things Hastings United. In the show this week we have Adam Smith, who, when he's not a familiar face behind the bar at the Pilot Field, he's the chair of the Hastings Independent Supporters Club. Also coming up, we have the great honour of Hastings captain Rebecca Relf, talking about her career and how it is shaping up in the women's squad. But first, George Gasson on the recent away day to Moulton and Tiptree. The great George Gasson was at Moulton and Tiptree away. We managed to squeeze a 1-0 result. Thoughts from the game, George?
Well, we were the better side. I think we would be favourites going into a game like that. As we know from your previous interview, Moulton and Tiptree have had a lot of changes to their team. We've added to ours. We were the better side. We deserved the win. Slightly controversial goal from TC.
For those who don't know, that's Tom Chalmers.
Fantastic. It's Tom Chalmers indeed. Yeah, he's gone right on the byline.
Yeah.
And he's headed the ball. It's looped over the keeper, backspun into the net.
Oh, great stuff.
The Malden keeper seemed to think that the ball had already gone out before DC had headed it. But
that's a shame.
No VAR at this level, so, yeah, we'd have loved to have checked that.
Yeah.
No, it's really, really good. So we look strong. Yeah, TC an absolute star again. Gary had an injury at the back, but
yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I haven't heard anything from anyone about it being a serious one. Did it just look like a little niggle or something more serious?
Just like a knock. It didn't look serious to me. He's quite a tough character.
Yeah.
I expect him to be back soon, hopefully. Him and Stoney obviously being
great partnership
at the back.
Great partnership.
Quite important to us. So we'll be hoping he can play on Saturday.
Yeah, looking at the team sheet, I saw it had a try list. Any words about who that was for those who weren't at the game?
A young man called Raheem Sterling Parker plays for us as a trialist. Yeah, he looked lively. I think he looked like he'll give us something a little bit different. We've got sort of three, David, Ben Pope and Lloyd Dawes up top, who are quite narrow in their natural play. So I think perhaps we're just looking at him to look at a player who'll give us that natural width higher up the pitch.
So he's got a bit of pace on him, yeah?
Yeah, he looked lively. Yeah, a bit of pace on him. Wants to attack, wants to get people involved. It's all about, like we mentioned before with players, it's about them being a fit, sort of trust Aggie to...
Yes, trust in Aggie.
Players that'll be a right fit. Yes.
And here's the segment with Adam Smith. For all those that are regulars at Hastings, you'll know Adam from the Pilot Field Bar, where he's worked to the bone under close observation from his wife Sam, who is the Bar Supremo Commander-in-Chief. Just to get started, Adam, now that I've just introduced you badly.
I like it.
Well, just to get started, fella, we for most of us know you obviously from the supporters club and bits and pieces, but for the people out there that don't know you, what's your relationship with the club?
I started going to Hastings United purely just because Sam worked there, and it started off with just her in the social club. So I sort of observed the Hastings games from afar. So I sort of knew what was going on, but didn't have a massive to do with the club.
Yeah.
And it was a bit odd for me because back when I was growing up, I used to be a huge Samco / St Leonard for all their guys. I used to be a massive fan of them.
Yeah.
Which isn't particularly what you do in Hastings, and you're not particularly like from the Hastings fans to the St Leonard fans. So there was a lot of rivalry back in the day. When St Leonard folded back in 2002, 2003, somewhere like that, I sort of stopped going to any non-league football and forgot how much I loved it. And then when Sam took over the Pilot Bar and I actually started going in the ground, actually going out watching the game, my love for non-league football come back again. And it sort of coincided at a time when Arsenal, my Premier League team, weren't doing so well. And Hastings really filled the void of the football years. And it was after the end of the first season I watched, so a couple of seasons ago, at the end of season awards, I sort of put a little bit on Facebook afterwards of how it's easy to forget your non-league roots and the teams that you love, and to just go to your local team that's down the road. It's always within a few miles, quite often walking distance, and it's way better than going to watch any league football.
Oh, 100%.
It's just really nice to sort of be back in with it, and then just my love grew with Hastings as I started to do a bit more with Sam behind the bar, started interacting with the fans, started interacting working with the players. Naturally, because of all the noise behind the goal, I ended up behind the goal with all the noisy lot. That's where the noise comes from, that's the passion.
Yeah.
And that's what I always, as a kid watching St Leonard's, I always admired the people behind the goal making all the noise.
Yeah.
I was just sort of standing on the halfway line with my dad. My love for the club was where it started in such a short time.
I just realised, actually, that this is fantastic. This is on our doorstep. This is real. You can see the passion. You can, you're part of something. You're not just you just, they just want your money for a shirt, because you're just a brand name. They're just a brand name, and that actually they're out there. The passion, you see it from all the players. That everyone's so approachable.
Yeah.
It's just great, mate. Just for people that don't know, how long have you been involved with the Independent Supporters Club?
Support with the club. This is now going into my second season. So going back to last season, myself and Lee, who is Joanne Nesbitt's partner, who's on the board, we were approached to try and start the Supporters Club again, because it is something that had been done before and it had laid dormant for a few years, and they wanted to try and get that link from the board to the fans back again and make the club a whole lot more approachable, with sort of not just on match day, throughout everything that's going on. So me and Lee started it up last season. It was sort of mixed bag. It was quite hard to get people interested again, and we sort of plodded through the first season, and it sort of towards the middle we didn't really know where we were headed with it. We sort of plodded along, and then coming towards the end of the season, we got a few more people that are now on our committee that started showing interest in it. People were realising, hang on, I've got ideas that I can help with that, much like what you're doing with the podcast. There's lots of individuals, we're getting 700-800 people a week.
Yeah.
And lots of them people want to do something for the club, and which is why now in its second season with the Supporters Club, there's loads more interest, loads more interaction. People seem to be signing up. You just sort of say hello, well, especially Shana though, she's the main person. She's Wonder Woman with the signatures, but she seems to go up to them. They're like, yeah, I want to be part of that. And I think it's very easy to sit here being the chairman of this Supporters Club when I've got people like yourself, George, Shana, Kev, Seth, that are so fantastic at what they do. It makes my life really easy because we're all as one.
Yeah.
And we all want the same thing for the Supporters Club. We want everyone to enjoy themselves at Hastings United.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a united message.
It's almost like there's no idea that we come up with is a bad idea. Everything is good. And often in our little chat, someone has an idea, and then, 2 or 3 minutes later, we've got a really good idea from where it stemmed from and a few other ideas to go with it. Everyone has the positive energy that this club seems to be exuding at the moment, and it's really helping us as well.
About with the money that we've got, obviously we know because we're both on the committee, but like people maybe listening to this aren't. So, is there anything planned? With the money that with the great take up of membership this year, is there anything we've got planned for that money to go either towards something for the supporters during this season or towards the club?
Well, probably should start with last season. The money we raised from the members and the kind of functions of it. We approached the club and said, right, what do you want us to do with this money we've raised? We've raised it to help the club. Have you got any ideas? And one of the first ideas that Billy come up with was, well, we need a new board outside the ground advertising the next fixture. So he's like, if you could fund that, then that would be brilliant. It helps the club out because unfortunately it blew down with the strong winds back in March, April, whenever it was.
Yeah.
So we can put some money towards that. We'll have our little name in the corner, and it's something that every time someone looks what fixture Hastings have, they see us on there as well. So that was the first thing that we thought, right, let's get that done with the money. And then moving on to this season, we were tasked from the club, firstly, to raise awareness of the women's football that started this season. So that'll be raising awareness, not necessarily with money throughout the year, but that will be something that comes at the end of the year when we've got a wad of cash or whatever. There'll be something to help the women's football for next season. But there's a few little things that we're trying to do throughout the year. And one of them that we come up with the other day was we need a new flag. Because the club has been good enough to change our badge, our flag is now out of date after one season. which is all cool. We don't mind that. We like designing things like that. But we thought, right, well, we're going to design a flag. But we had an idea that why not get all the kids that go to the football, they all turn up with their families, they all want to be part of it, they're all on the sideline cheering. Let's run a little competition so they can design their own flag.
Yeah,
we will have a look through, we'll have a little vote. We're not sure how we're going to do the vote, probably put them online or something like that. And then with our money that we've raised from this season, we'll actually get the flag made. So it can be proudly hung behind the goal, home and away.
Excellent. And I mean, that competition, is that going to be starting up in the next few weeks?
What we're going to do, we're going to have all the details for that finalised so we can get it to people in time for the first league game.
Oh, great stuff.
So that gives us, 2 weeks today is the first league game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. 19.
And I know we were talking about trying to get some posters up as well. I mean, we're giving that information out now on this, but I know that we were saying we're going to get it out on social media, and hopefully we're going to have a few posters up to remind people. Maybe
definitely get some posters around the ground.
Yeah, and maybe we can get Shani on the telling all the kids they need to do the draw the pictures. She's good at pestering people into doing stuff. So I'm sure they'll do it anyway.
They'll be doing it at half time.
Well,
I mean, that is the fortunate position we're in. Because we've had such a good take up on membership, we have got some money that we can put forward and actually get things in action early. So like the flag and things like that, we can make it happen straight away. We don't have to wait, we need another few members and then we can afford it. We can get going straight away.
For people that haven't signed up yet, what offers have we got on? Like, if I was to sign up now as a member, what would I expect to get in return for my £10?
Right, so straight away on a match day, when we're at home, there's going to be offers on all the food and drink outlets. So in the tea bar, you've got teas and coffees for £1. They've now increased in price.
Yeah.
So for our members, the price is being held from last season.
Okay.
Into the food outlet, there's special offers being run there. So you get cheeseburger, chips, and a drink, all for £5.
Bargain.
Then in the bar, these offers will change throughout the season. What Sam has done first off is because we've got some new beers in there.
Yeah.
We're now running Heineken, Foster's, Strongbow Dark Fruits, and Strongbow. We're going to do some offers on them. So, for example, like on Foster's, 2 pints for £6.
Oh, okay, good.
I think it's about £3.90 each.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do throughout the season is through our members and through Sam liaising with people, we're going to sort of try and tailor the deals to what people drink to stick around, and it encourages them that their views are listened to. So if we get loads of people that say drink ale, drink some Dubar or something, we're like, okay, we'll put an offer on for you. You've been good enough to keep drinking it with us, keep coming in.
Yeah.
Let's do that. What else we're going to have? There's going to be some discounts in the club shop, in the newly formed club shop. But because the football club themselves are still deciding what to do, how they're going to do it, we haven't got the exact deals that they're going to be yet. We are also, if and when, well, not if, when, let's be positive, the away travel and the coaches and things run again, there's going to be a discount on away coach travel, which was one of the most popular deals last season.
And this is all for only £10.
All for £10. You know, if you come into the ground, have something to eat, have a drink, and then travel to the next away game, you've got your money back.
Yeah, no, it's excellent value.
You know,
I mean, we've done well there.
That's it. Almost sounds too cheap, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe we should put it up. No, I mean from a point of view of the podcast, any offers that are updated, I'll mention on this again, and I'll drag you in again. Actually, if there's anything that does come up in terms of we want to push the membership because it's just fantastic value, and it goes back towards the club. You know, it's none of it's going towards us. It's going towards the supporters and the club. It's all win-win.
Yeah, that's it. We're all doing this for the love of the club. You know, we don't take anything from it other than the joy that we get going to the football.
Yeah.
So every £10, every bit of money that comes in with all the events that we do goes straight back to Hastings United.
No, it's great stuff. Putting you on the spot here a little bit, Adam, because I don't prep you. But have you got any future plans for the Supporters Club? Is there any sort of avenues that you think we should go? Just your thoughts, really, about the future plans for the Supporters Club. Is there any direction you think might be good to go in?
It's put me on the spot. It's a funny one because we've had such a mad. I mean, we've got the double amount of members this season as we had last season, and we haven't even started yet. and we've gone through all that horrible COVID that we try not to mention.
Yeah.
And it's gone way further already than I thought we'd get through a whole season.
No, it's been great take-up. It's fantastic. We're in a fantastic spot. Did you have any thoughts or not?
We've had a couple of chats with the committee about other events that we're going to put on this year. We're going to do, because the quiz was so well received, we're going to do another quiz towards Christmas time.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some sort of bingo night around late October. So that's a couple of events that we're going to put on. But as for plans, we're rolling week by week, and we seem to be coming up with all these ideas when we chat. There'll be more ideas by the time this podcast goes out, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, and obviously from the point of view of the podcast, like it's going to be weekly. So if anything does come up, you Hastings fans will hear it here first. If not, if you're on social media, I'm sure Adam will pump it out on the Hastings United Independent Supporters on Twitter or Facebook page.
There is an Independent Supporters Club group on Facebook that is members only, and the point of that is to be the first to find out about things, not only supporters club related, but sometimes football club related. So it's a little VIP area for all the events.
Okay, and who's in charge of that? That's is that you?
I oversee it, but all of the committee are admins on it.
Yeah,
so anything that they post will go straight on it, and then anyone can post anything on it. It just gets moderated by the admins first. It's a place where all the members can go, all the fans can have a little chat and learn about the club, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's important to mention, just to reiterate that there's any ideas any fans have got that are our members, that's the forum to chop it up on. Every one of us are very approachable. No idea is a bad idea. In terms of the supporters club and its role, will they make any input in regard to the new stadium, in terms of the acoustic or the naming of stands, etc.? Would we consider input?
Yeah, no, I like that. That is good. I mean, it's not something that we as a committee have spoken about or spoken to the football club about, but that's the whole idea of the Independent Supporters Club. Our members come into us with an idea, and then I'll go and have a chat with Billy and say, right, we've got a few people asking what's going to happen, can I have some input, like with a stand, and it's brilliant. That's the sort of thing that the sort of ideas that we welcome. Thought about yet?
No, absolutely. I got a message yesterday about that, and I just thought, actually, that's a bloody good idea, and particularly naming of a stand and things like that. You could get all the fans involved with that. Particularly naming of the stand. Personally, I think we should be all over, really. Thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely. And, we've seen how well received the new Steve Smith stand was on Facebook when there was the naming going round for that. Everyone was getting involved, everyone was throwing in their ideas. And if we can run something like that with the naming of new stands, and, there's going to be lots of new things there, new bars, new gyms, new function areas. And there's going to be lots of things that need an identity. Helping the club with that and helping our members and fans to do that with the club. It's brilliant, because then everyone gets that little bit closer, a little bit more tied in with the club.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I can't speak highly enough of Aggie.
Yeah.
As a football manager, I mean, I haven't interacted with a lot of football managers during my time, only sort of non-league ones like that, but how he sees the game, how he talks afterwards, his planning. I've been in the bar with him afterwards, and he will remember everything from every second of the 90 minutes he's just watched.
Wow.
And it absolutely baffles me how clever he is with that. And he was writing in the players' WhatsApp group or whatever. Everything the players did good, everything the players did bad. And that type of planning is just coming across on the pitch, knowing.
Oh, 100%.
Don't get me wrong, in the 3 years or so I've watched them, I'm very fortunate that they're in a winning place at the moment. So,
but maybe that's the reason.
Well, it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
The team, as it looks this year, pre-season friendly. It's been a bit up and down. We've had a couple of losses. The game against Folkestone, against higher level opposition, we should have won on chances. And that's one of the ones. You either win the game or you learn. Just watching the players play against a higher level opposition, that we should have been in their league. Yeah, arguably Folkestone could have got promoted as well.
Yeah.
But we should be, if not 2 leagues higher, Steve. I know there's a couple of people gone. It's massive news that Jake Elliott's staying.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was surprised. I don't know how we managed that. He's a great player.
That just goes back to Chris and the coaching staff. I mean, to have a player like Jake come in and fill Jamie Fielding's boots from the season before, when Jamie was outstanding and got on to league football. You never thought it would happen, but it's a testament to Jake that we didn't miss Jamie, and that's what I love. But the addition, I know Lloyd Dawes is injured at the moment, but he looks an absolute beast up front.
Yeah,
he will just go through people. Looks like he wants to have a shot from anywhere, which is good. Ben Pope, who won our supporters club player of the year last season, keeping players like that. And personally, my player of the season last season was Gary Elphin, and just how he leads the team, not just on the pitch but off it as well. I'm fortunate enough to be down the bar sometimes when they're training and things like that, and he's a born leader, and to have that off the pitch and on the pitch,
we're lucky.
And to keep hold of it is immense.
Gary, he does come across as a class act,
and just the camaraderie and the togetherness of the whole team. You know, and it's what we in the bar say, and what Sam said. Come in the bar after the game, see the team all together. It's one big family.
Yeah.
And the good thing with them is anyone that's in the bar, join in with them, and they're like one of us fans when they're off the football pitch, and that's how approachable everyone is around the club. I mean, it's lovely to be a part of that.
No, you've smashed that, really, Adam. You're just absolutely spot on. Your relationship with Billy, now obviously you being in charge, the head cheese of the Independent Supporters Club, speak to Billy, you're sort of like direct to him. I mean, how have you found him since he's took over?
He's been a breath of fresh air to the football club, and no disrespect to the previous people on the board that have now left, but he's really captured the energy of everyone, got everyone motivated, and as someone that you've got to deal with that's as positive as me and as positive as we all are, it makes life a lot easier. I mean, it does have its drawback with him that he's always got a lot on, so when you do pin him down, you need to get that 5 minutes with him and get everything out of him. But anytime, like with the office with the supporters club, it's just, go for it, do it, we can do that, anything for the fans, we'll make it work. If you need help with something, we'll do it. And as someone at the top of the football club that is just saying yes to all we're asking.
No, that's it. Well,
and even if it's not him, anyone else on the board, they're all as approachable, and they'll all make things happen. And I think they've got Billy's infectious love for the club, and they're just spreading it out for everyone.
Yeah, well, there's
good.
It's great. I mean, we're just at this. Well, we're just at this. We're at a point where it seems like the club's moving forward. We've got a forward-looking chairman, prospective new ground. The supporters club is looking up, even though despite COVID, all that, everyone being locked down, we've had a massive take up on it. That we have no problems with like filling a ground. Be it for the women's game or for the men's game. Straight off. It's everyone's up for it. It's just a fantastic time to be a fan of Hastings United.
Well, like you say, start on women's team, and then have 200 people there for their first friendly.
Yeah.
And over 200 tickets sold for their FA Cup game tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
It's amazing. Unfortunately, with all these stupid COVID rules and having 400 people in the ground that we're going to be limited to, it's a real problem, because we can sell double that easily. Yeah. But, we do what we do, and
we'll roll with it.
It'll all be over soon. And
we'll roll with it. That's what I mean. I mean, I think we're approaching it in a positive mindset that we've approached literally most things over the last year.
There's a lot to be said for a positive mindset.
Yeah.
It's all you need at times, and it makes things happen.
Thanks ever so much for your time, Adam. I know that obviously you're on the way to Moulton and Tiptree, but I mean, is there anything you want to mention before you go?
No, I think that's it. I mean, other than to say to yourself for doing this, it's absolutely brilliant. To have another way that fans can interact with clubs, fans can find out. It's just brilliant on yourself for coming up with the idea. So well done for that.
No, thanks, mate. I mean, it's all about getting more people involved. Once you've got that that bug. Anything where we can get more fans involved, more ideas out there, get more people in the ground. No, cheers, mate. And listen, enjoy the game today.
No, it's going to be an interesting one. You know, something we played them last year in apprentice with, and they had a fantastic season with a couple of experts. It's a shame that they haven't retained the same squad as sort of we have, and then it would be a real level to see where we're at year on, sort of year on.
Yeah.
But no, it's going to be good. You know, new ground, I've never been up here. Be interested to see what it's like. It's always nice to have a nose, see what facilities and stuff that other grounds have got.
Yeah.
Sort of compare it to ours.
Yeah, no, it won't be as good as ours, let's be honest. The renowned DJ Pat McCrosson's Song Pick of the Week.
It's good to be wise when you're young, 'cause you can only be young, but for once, enjoy yourself, have lots of fun. It's not wise that you should be another man's good stool. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Enjoy yourself while you're still in the thing. Then years go by as quickly as you wink. Enjoy yourself, it's later than you think.
Hastings captain Rebecca Relf. I've actually had a bit of feedback from other fans actually wanting to ask you a few questions, which is
really?
No, it's already from people that have been coming to the games. One of the first questions I wanted to ask you, Rebecca, you're the women's captain, but they might not know about your career previously. Could you give us a few words about what your career's been before coming over to Hastings?
So I started football at the age of 8 and just played for local team because I'm from Worthing Way, so I used to play for Worthing Miners for quite a lot of my childhood. And then I went to uni and had a bit of a break from football, so I just focused on netball because I play a lot of team sports. Yeah. So I just went for netball during uni, although I did dip into a bit. I played for a local team called Maresfield for about half a season with my old PE teacher, actually, because she wanted us to play together and things like that, so that was really good, actually. And then I met, actually, there, Theo, who's the admin of Eastbourne Town currently. So I played for Eastbourne United for, I think, 1 or 2 seasons, maybe 1. And then I moved over to Eastbourne Town, where I spent the last 2 seasons with them. So Theo runs sort of the admin side of that, so I knew him previously. He sort of recruited me for Eastbourne Town. So yeah, I spent the last 2 seasons with them. And then I was actually just going to stop football for at least a season. And then Hastings came along and sort of took me by surprise, really, and Billy sort of sold it to me because I'm in the last year of my PhD, so it's quite full on. If anyone knows about PhDs and things, it's not great. Anyway, it's a lot. Whilst I work part time as well at the university, so I've got quite a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot of plates spinning.
Life. So I was going to take a step back from football really, but then I came to Hastings, loved it. Then was fortunate enough to be nominated as a captain. So it all sort of happened quite quickly really, but wouldn't change it. But that's sort of, I don't have the career pathway of some of the players definitely that play for Hastings now, like Sophie Reed and Sophie Bridson. Like they've come from really high level clubs for quite a while, so I definitely don't have the sort of the impact behind my name really that some of them in the team definitely do, which is obviously brilliant to play alongside them. But just sort of a local girl really. I've been in Eastbourne, living here for 9 years now, so I've been sort of playing football locally for the last sort of 3, and then I've just gone to Hastings. So
what's it feel like being made the captain of Hastings? Have you been captain before in your other sides? I mean, I've been told that you're a proper natural leader on the pitch. This is what I've been told by others. I haven't caught the home games because I've unfortunately been working, but I've been told that you're like a Roy Keane out there.
Oh, really?
Which is like...
I've been a captain when I was like a child playing, but not for many, many years, actually. But no, I think I probably am a bit of a natural leader, and I'm quite a voice, and I always have sort of my opinion and things like that. Anyway, I'm one of the sort of outspoken ones of the group, usually anyway. So I think I sort of naturally took on that role. But to be made captain in such a short amount of time was actually really quite a bit overwhelming, really. I was actually quite emotional when they told me, because it's a big honour for me personally to be given that respect and appreciation from quite early on. I think it was only 4 weeks into our time together as a club. I think we'd only had maybe 4 training sessions together. So for them to see that quite early on is obviously fantastic. And a real honour really. But no, I love being captain. I love supporting the girls, especially some of the younger ones we've got. So we've got a few that are only just turned 16. So this is their first time playing women's football, let alone with the big old crowds that we've had at the pilot field for the last 2 weeks, which has been phenomenal.
Yeah, of course it has,
So I just think it's great to, if you said that people have said I lead on the pitch, that's great, but I hope to lead them off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
So it's been really great couple of months, and it's crazy that it's only been a couple of months really.
Well, that's what I was going to touch on, Rebecca. That it is incredible that how quickly everything's been put together, and that there's a viable team out there. I know
it's fantastic to be a part of, because even the last sort of couple of games obviously not been in our favour, where we've lost 2-0 on both occasions. But if you think about last week, it was a pre-season against Herne Bay, who are a couple of leagues above us. And actually, if you watch the footage back, because we're lucky enough to have our games filmed by Joe, and his dad obviously takes the pictures as well. So the support around Hastings is just fantastic. It's nothing I've ever had in women's football ever. But because we're lucky enough to be able to then watch our own performances back, which I've actually never done before. I've never watched myself play football, which is an experience in itself, let's say. But if you watch the last game back in the second half, we were the better team by far. Dominated the play, and it was just unfortunate that we couldn't get a result. A draw would have been fair in my eyes for that game. I think yesterday it was a deserved win. They were definitely a very well organised team, and you could see that they're well established. But that's what I keep saying to the girls, though. I'm like, I think we're only 9 weeks into actually being a team at all, and it's our 5th game together. So it's just phenomenal what we can achieve, and I think that's why it's so disheartening if the fans would have seen me potentially yesterday, that I was a bit of a blubbering mess at the end of the game, because I'm one of those losers that gets really passionate and sort of feels the vibe, and I just get really disappointed and frustrated. Though I'm an emotional woman, that's for sure. But it was just frustrating that we just didn't perform how I know we can perform, because we do have the ingredients to be fantastic, and we just didn't turn up yesterday, unfortunately. But But I said to the girls, like, you can't be disheartened, really. It's our 5th game together. We've not had one game where we've had the same players in the same position. You know what I mean? We're still trying to figure out pairings and who can work with each other. We're still very early on, and it's just unfortunate that the FA Cup was so early on before the season even started. Because I think it would be a different ball game if it were 4 or 5 games down the line. I do think it would have been very different.
I mean,
so
you can't.
To consider the football that we do play, you can't really complain, really. For the amount of time we've been together, it's quite great, really.
Yeah, I was just saying that you can't. You can't be critical of. You've got 200-300 people there already, so there's that positive vibe there.
Yeah.
You know the background's there, and it's these things take time. It's and it's better that there's a local mix of people there with a bit of experience. Again, I mean, it'd be mad to think that you're gonna be sitting there spanking teams 4-0 when you girls don't even know each other yet, do you really? I mean, well, you're just forming those relationships. So
exactly, and we had quite a good pre-season run in terms of won our first 2, and then we drew 1. So to even have results like that to begin with was great, and a real confidence boost for a lot of the girls and things. But I just hope that having 2 losses in a row doesn't sort of deflate them and knock their confidence, because I just have to keep reinforcing that we're a start-up team, and it's going to take some time for us to gel, and these are teams that are higher leagues, so you can't be too disheartened. Do you know what I mean? No one would be shocked to hear that Hackney beat us yesterday, because they're a well-established team that have been for years, and they're a higher league, so on paper it's not a shock, really, but it's just frustrating for me as captain when I know I've given 100% and the girls have given 100%, and then we don't get the result that I feel was maybe deserved, or we have the capability of being better than we have done yet, and we just, as you said, we're just trying to figure out who works well with who, and it's just it's just going to take some time, so the girls just got to stick with it, really.
Well, Rebecca, you're also trying to set a standard, aren't you? You know, it's obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a certain level that needs to be going on, and this is how it's going to, that's the bar that's being set, and it's obviously, trying to get to that level, and that may take a while, but at least you are trying to set that standard and not just accepting.
Especially with the setup that we've been given, I think we can't take that for granted, because actually what Hastings provides us as women footballers is phenomenal. Like that, I've never been to a club where I've not paid subs, or I've not paid for my kit, or the fact that Billy's organised us to have a minibus for away games. I've never had that, the level of football that I've played. And considering Eastbourne Town plays at quite a high level, really, we didn't have any of that. So for us to have all of this, like a great management, we've got stewards and groundsmen, do you know what I mean? It's literally, it's insane if you think about it for the level of a start-up team. But that's where Billy, as the CEO, he wants to set the precedent of, this is the women's football team, we're going to treat them the same as the men's, and then we're going to get the same outcome, really. We're going to work our way up the leagues until we get to sort of the higher leagues, and that's the vision and the pride and the passion pride, passion, purpose at Hastings Way. That's what it's been inbred in us since we started. That's what Billy wants the clubs to have and show. So it's great. Like, that's one of the reasons that I signed for Hastings, was that I was so enthused by it and so excited by the vision and what this can do for women's football and how great it is. That's kind of why I was like, well, it'd be silly not to take up this opportunity, honestly. And I'll just have to make it work alongside the rest of
all the other plates are spinning.
Yeah, exactly. So I just have to add an extra one. I didn't realise that I would be captain. I honestly must say that was a role that hadn't come into my head, but one that I wouldn't regret at all. I think it's a fantastic honour to be part of this first women's team, to be captain. It's literally, it's great. The facilities and the support that we have already, considering the season hasn't even started, is amazing. The supporters that we've had, it's been really great.
Well, that's my point to add to that, really, I think, was that the amount of support that you've got already. I mean, I think because of the way that things have been set up, where the club is taking this seriously, that this isn't a sort of pissant attempt at anything, that they're doing this properly and treating you with respect, that's why they're all turning up, because they're like, this is going to be a proper outfit, we need to support it properly as well.
Yeah, exactly. And their support on sort of social media and things like that is also great. I always get some form of positive message from a couple of them every week, really. It's really nice to have that as well. So it is like a big family, really. So they've gone from supporting the women's team's been made, and now they're viewing us in the same light. So it's really, a great vibe to be around.
One of the questions I was asked was, who were your footballing heroes?
My footballing, I was actually for a footballer, it shocks a lot of people to say that I actually don't watch much football, at all really. I watched like the World Cup and things like that, but as a child, I think what got me into football was Michael Owen, I must admit, because I think the first game I watched, I'm pretty sure he scored like a hat-trick or something. So I was very much surrounded by Michael and David Beckham and Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, like that sort of England squad that was how I grew up with. So they're definitely my footballing heroes. And then obviously you've got the women's side that are just have taken storm now, and they've been great. Like watching them in the World Cup and things like that was really great for me. It's like Lucy Bronze, she's definitely my favourite female footballer. But I definitely brought up Michael Owen was my favourite.
Does that mean you're a Liverpool fan then?
Well, I was one of those kids that literally just followed wherever he went. I was such a Liverpool fan. So I'd go from Liverpool, I'd go to Real Madrid. Like I just followed him really, not the team. And even now I wouldn't say I supported anyone except England, honestly. My dad, because we're from sort of Sussex way, my dad's probably more of a Brighton fan, but even he, I think probably that's why I'm like it, because he doesn't really have like an outright team that he supports. So we just sort of, I'm not a massive football fan. I actually get quite irritated watching some of the men's football because they just sort of roll around and a bit of a pansy, really. So I get a bit more frustrated watching it. So and I'm one of those people that if you can play it, then play it. Why are you going to watch it when you can go out and play it? I'm very much one of those people that I'd rather be outside doing the sport than inside watching it. I do enjoy it sometimes, but I've been to a few sort of live games which were better for me. I think I would much prefer to watch a game outside at the stadium. Yeah, there's nothing
the same.
Watch TV, I wouldn't watch that unless it was like the World Cup or something. But that was sort of my era, was growing up with that squad. So they were definitely probably my footballing heroes at the time.
Okay. All right, thank you. I was going to just quickly go back to, what's it like? I don't know, what's the kind of vibe within the squad in terms of playing in front of such numbers? At Eastbourne, what were you getting?
It definitely depends on who you're playing as well, because for Eastbourne Town, we would probably have had maybe 20-ish, something like that, like quite small numbers, and it would be sort of family or partners. Or maybe a bit more, maybe 50 max, but really not any sort of high numbers. Our highest one, I think, because I was trying to think, I was like, have I actually, before our first game last week, I was like, have I actually played against a crowd that big? And we did last season we played, I think it was Dulwich Hamlet in the FA Cup, actually. I think it was 314 or something was the crowd. So that was definitely the biggest that I'd ever played at. So I had played once before. So I was trying to calm sort of the nerves of most of the team that hadn't played against the crowd, and I was thinking, well, can I calm them? Have I done that before? But one time. But I know for obviously some of the players in the team, like both the Sophies and Beth Richardson, those sort of people that have played at a higher level,
they've played
Shana, the keeper, they've had crowds like that before. So for them, but even they were nervous. Like everyone's nervous, but it's just how you use those nerves, really. But for the little ones who have just sort of turned 16, it was, I think, quite overwhelming. But actually, I think the ground itself made that better because it is such a huge ground. 200 people didn't look like 200 people. Because it wasn't obviously full because of the COVID restrictions. I think if it were maybe like 600, then maybe they would have been like, oh, crikey, that's quite a lot. But because everyone was quite interspersed, like around the pitch, like there was people on all sides of it, some sitting in the stands, some behind the goal and stands. So it was quite spread, so it didn't actually look as overwhelming as I thought it might have been when they did say how many were going to be turning up. So I think that helps as well. But for the girls, I think it's just, fantastic to have that support and have the ability for their families to come and watch. We obviously clapped the fans after the match because we want to thank them for taking the time and spending the money to come and support us. It's a real great experience. But for other teams that I've played for, we've definitely not had support like that, and obviously Eastbourne Town's a lot higher league than what we are playing in. So to have that initial support already, great. Can't knock it.
Oh, great. Well, another thing I wanted to ask you: what do you think's going to be a good season in your eyes?
Well, obviously we're striving to win the league. I don't think if we were to say otherwise, I don't think you should be part of a club if you're not aiming to win.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So that for us, I think if we were top 3, it would be fantastic, but in my eyes, I'm here for us to win. So that would be a good league. I think anything less than that would not show our potential, because we do have the ingredients of a fantastic squad. We've got quite a few niggles at the moment and injuries, which I think happens in pre-season, especially during obviously COVID, where a lot of gyms and things have been shut. So a lot of people have gone from nothing for quite a few months to football. So we've got quite a few injuries, which hopefully they're not drastic. They're just sort of pulls and strains and things like that. So hopefully once those are cleared up, we do have the role to be able to make this a cracking season. It's just hopefully depends how long they take to heal, really, because a few of our key players are out at the moment. So to go into the first game of the season with 3 maybe of the starting 11 out is not what we'd want, but I'd much rather they rest for the beginning of the season to make sure that they can play the rest of it.
Of course.
Than not. But yeah, I think definitely you've got to go with the mindset that you're going to win, and I think that's only what really deserves with the setup that we've been set. Like, we've got great management, great support, the pilot field is a fantastic field, it's absolutely humongous. So I think that would take time for us to get used to, let alone other opponents, because it's absolutely huge. I've never played on a pitch like it. It's deceivingly big as well, because when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, maybe that's sort of the same sort of size as the Saffrons where Town plays. But no, it's so huge. My gosh. Yeah, every time I finish a game, I feel like I'm going to pass out because I run so much. But it's definitely a monster. Yeah, for the season, I reckon if we're not on the top 3, I would be disappointed.
You'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I think anyone would be, honestly. But we chose the higher of the league to go into, because I think as a start-up team we had a choice of going in right at the bottom or sort of one step above. So we've taken sort of more of a challenge, which is good, because hopefully we can sort of show what we've got, really. But yeah, I reckon anything lower than top 3 would not be doing Hastings justice, or us as a team, I don't think.
Okay, got just a couple more questions and then I'll let you go. Yeah, just for people that don't know the squad yet, pick out a couple of players in your mind that are going to be big standouts this season.
Big standouts. So for me, we've got Sophie Reed, who's an absolutely phenomenal player. She played at West Ham for 12 years, and it's quite evident. She had her ACL done twice, though, so in terms of fitness and getting that back, that's one thing she's working on now. Yeah. But technically, she's a standout in this squad. We started her as CDM, and then we made a decision this week to drop her back into centre-back so that she can hopefully sort out our back line a bit. But yeah, she's vice captain as well, and she's a natural leader as well, on and off the pitch. Great support to the girls on and off the pitch. So I think she'll definitely be one to watch. And then you've got Izzy, who's a fantastic footballer. I think she'll be scoring goals for fun this season. She's one that's got one of the niggles of the injury, so she's done her hamstring. She played the first half yesterday and she wasn't right. I could tell she wasn't right. She couldn't sprint or anything. And then she came off at half-time in real pain. So I'm hoping it's just a bit of a slight pull, because that will be, a massive detriment to the squad. Without Izzy, so we're definitely going to be missing her in the first game on Sunday without her. But she's, I think we play together brilliantly as well. So I'm normally sort of the number 10 position, and we just know where each other is, and she knows when to run onto my through balls, and it's just a perfect partnership in my eyes. And I've never really had a player where you connect with them that well, where you know where they are and you know what they're going to do. Like, she will give through balls to me too. So yeah, it's really great for us as a team. I think both of our goalkeepers are fantastic. So to have 2 is nothing I've ever had in the squad either. So Sophie Brisbane was our first keeper, and she is a police officer and works shift work. So we knew from the get-go that she wouldn't be able to commit fully to training, and she'd probably only make sort of 60-70% of the matches, but she would do her best. And then Shana came around probably a couple of weeks ago, who's also played for teams like Brighton and things like that. So to have 2 keepers who are fantastic is great, and hopefully will sort of lead the squad from the back, and because they're both very vocal, both great on one-to-ones. They've made some fantastic saves already this season. So I think, for me, they're sort of the standouts. And then there are players, there's lots of players. I mean, that's just a couple I've mentioned there. Yeah. But most of our team, we're lucky that they're very talented with their feet. So for us, the main thing is just working out who can play with who, and upping sort of fitness levels and things to get to, especially playing at the pilot field because it's so big, getting able to sort of play on that side of the pitch. But we're actually very lucky in that we've got at least 15 girls that are super talented on the ball, so it's just about increasing their confidence now of them knowing that they can take the ball and be calm with it and collected, and just working together to find out who can work with who and what's the best sort of recipe for us. But yeah, there's a lot of talent in this team, which is fantastic to be around, and yeah, to be able to support these girls and hopefully do something great for the club and in this season is a great opportunity, I think, for all of us. But yeah, they're just maybe four of many. But yeah, we've got great bunch of girls.
Okay, well, just finally, I'm going to ask you about what's it like working with Amy and like the management team, and any thoughts on them and how you're all progressing together.
Yeah, I think obviously it's Amy's first gig as manager, and I think she's very lucky that she's got the support that she does in terms of our other coaches, and then Billy and everyone around sort of Hastings as well, all the groundsmen, things like that. I think they all give a lot of support to all of the sort of managing staff. They're a great bunch of people. I've got some good ideas. I think for us it's just working out, as I said, like what formation we're going to do and who can play where and things like that. So it's all about communication really, which I think there's always going to be a bit of teething problems in pre-season, so hopefully we're sort of sorting them out now. Yeah. It's a shame that we couldn't have started, well obviously the start-up team, we've started probably pre-season about right or a bit earlier than you would have anyway, but it would have been nice if we could have had just that tiny bit longer before the season so that we've sort of flattened these issues out before we start. But it will come in time, definitely. We've got a good coaching squad behind us. You've got Rick, who again can talk for England, and you can hear him as well from one end of the pitch to the other. And then you've got Andy, who's the opposite, is very quiet, but definitely knows his stuff and has a lot of respect from the girls. So it's a good setup, I think. Definitely a good setup. And hopefully we just have a few more training sessions, because at the moment we've had few problems with like facilities, so we thought Hastings Academy would be open so that we could have some lighting. So with like the weather changing at the moment, we've had a few like training last week, for example, was only just over an hour because the light just went and there's nothing we could do about it. So hopefully those sort of problems we can solve quite quickly. But yeah, no, the training's good. They've got some good ideas, done some drills that I've never done before and things like that. So it's nice they communicate freely with me, and I think it's nice that they respect what I say as well, and sort of my opinions with things, which I didn't expect to have that. So yeah, it's a really nice environment to be around, honestly. Yeah, they're a really good bunch of people.
Well, thanks very much, Rebecca, for your time. I'd love you to I'd love you to maybe catch you a little bit later in the season, and we'll have this conversation again when we're top of the league.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure. Well, that's a wrap for this episode. Many thanks for all those that have listened. I really want your input, Hastings fans, be it for ideas for new segments for the show, or people from around the club you would like to be interviewed, or just to give some feedback. That email is hufcpod@gmail.com, or on Twitter, that's @HUFC Podcast. That's @HUFC Podcast. All that's left to say is, I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week, and see you at the game.
From Sussex by the sea.